The story of creation unfolds in the book of Bereshit. It's the story of the creation of the universe as a whole, as well as the Jewish people in particular. This journey comes to a close with Yosef's reunion with his father Yaakov, with Jacob, and his brothers, the very brothers who sold him into slavery. Finally, the shattered family is once again brought back together. However, darker times lie ahead. Yaakov's descent into Egypt marks the beginning of a brutal exile. It will entail hundreds of years of slavery before we emerge as a nation on the other side. Yaakov's passing is the last major event the Torah tells us about before the darkness and torture of Egyptian servitude engulfs our people. Is there a bright side to this turning point? As Yaakov Avinu lies on his deathbed, finally surrounded by all of his children, he gives each of them his blessing. The sages teach us that it's at that time that the familiar words of Shema Yisrael were first uttered. For a moment, Yaakov doubts that all of his children are truly committed to the path he's laid out for them. Yaakov's sons unitedly declare their commitment to Hashem with the words of Shema Yisrael. But what do the words of Shema Yisrael actually mean? Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hashem, who is our God, we recognize as the only God. We recognize his reality and the implication that has on our lives. But what did those opening words, Shema Yisrael, have to do with this? Hear Israel. Jewish people, listen to this. This is a declaration of our commitment to God. Where does the rest of the nation come in? It seems from here that our commitment to one another, to our nationhood, is an essential part of our commitment to Hashem. When we are truly committed to one another, then we unite around our faith to Hashem as well. And if someone is committed to Hashem but lacks the element of commitment to the nation, there's something lacking even in his connection with Hashem. These two things go together. Yaakov's sons, united in their commitment to Hashem, provide the foundation for the collective identity of the Jewish people, a people who will endure years of suffering and emerge stronger on the other side. This moment lays the foundation for something much greater, for the transition from a small family to becoming a nation. The Jewish people didn't survive the exile in Egypt simply with faith in God, but rather united as a Jewish family, bound together by their belief and shared sense of purpose. As we descended into Egypt as a family, we emerged hundreds of years later, not just as a family, but as a whole nation. The hardships of exile were a necessary part of the process of shaping and transforming and developing us into that nation. The final chapter in Yaakov's story gives us insight in navigating that process, in navigating the good times in our lives and the less good times in our lives. It is the Jewish home which holds us strong, which keeps us who we are. There are times where we may turn towards our communities, to our rabbis, to infrastructure, to provide spirituality, to provide a sense of connection to Hashem. But in reality, this final stage in Bereshit tells us we need to look primarily inward, at ourselves, at our families, at our homes. When we bring Hashem's presence into our homes, into our lives on a day-to-day basis, that is what gives us that kernel which can withstand all sorts of things and emerge as a nation on the other end. Shabbat Shalom.